Hi everyone, Bianca here from the Vitality Kitchen, and I want to welcome you back. So today we are going to be tackling a classic and then putting a new spin on it. So classic leek and potato soup, or vichyssoise as it's known as, is just leeks and potatoes. And although I love this soup, I find it to be super satisfying. I don't like that it's just potato and leek. There leaves something to be desired. Now, although potatoes do have merit, most of their merit is kept within their skin. But because potatoes are on the dirty dozen list, I always suggest that when people are using them that they peel them. So then you sort of take away all the good things about the potato. And also in classic vichyssoise, you peel the potato, therefore removing the best part of the potato as a whole. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to be using sweet potatoes. Now, sweet potatoes are super high in the antioxidant carotenoids, and also we're going to be using onions and leeks. Now, to start, we're going to turn on the element, and we're going to use coconut oil and a little bit of grass-fed butter. And the reason that we're using a little bit of butter is because I love what butter does when it comes into contact with onions. They become a marriage of beautiful richness that is going to add so much depth to this soup. So like in all the other soup recipes that I posted on my YouTube channel, I always say that you want to caramelize your onions because it's going to give your soup a richer flavor. In this case, it's absolutely paramount because the basis of this soup is the leek and then sort of the onion flavor that is enhanced by the potato. Now, we're adding a little bit more complexity to this soup because sweet potatoes aren't just, a bland flavored potato. Not to say potatoes are bland, but you know what I mean. So, sweet potatoes offer a nice complexity because the sweetness of the sweet potato is going to play really nicely with the savory caramelization that we're going to get on our onions. So, our onions and leeks are going to go and they're going to sweat down for about 10 to 15 minutes. So you actually want to give them a lot of time to develop and flavor before we do anything with the sweet potato. And you want to season with salt and pepper. So our onions and leeks have been cooking down for about 15 to 20 minutes. And again, they start to become translucent. You see a little bit of browned bits on the bottom, and you can really get the fragrance of onions and leeks in the air. But I wanted to give you a fun fact. Did you know that in the Vidalia region of Georgia, where they grow the Vidalia onion, there is the lowest incidence of stomach cancer in all of North America? And that is because onions help to prevent stomach cancer, the proliferation of stomach cancer cells, or even the onset of it. So if you don't like onions, a great way to get onions and the benefits of them is putting them in soup. So now we're going to add our carotenoid-rich sweet potatoes. So again, we're going to be adding a complexity of flavor because there's going to be that sweet and that savory. And we're also going to be adding heaps of just healthy fiber that our body is going to love us for. Now, the reason that I love soup so much in the winter time is because, again, in the winter I don't feel like eating a ton of food. I become really particular, and I like to have soups and really hearty, warming meals, and that is exactly what this is. So, soup, winter, polar vortex, soup, all of those words should be combined only to end in soup, just because soup is the perfect winter meal. And classically, leek and potato soup is actually served cold. So this is a soup that you can make now and serve it hot, and it's going to be completely satisfying, but you can also make it in the summertime and chill it and have a really cool appetizer. So the sweet potatoes have been in there for about 1 or 2 minutes. They're getting a little bit of color on them, but not too much. We're not really concerned with that. And we're going to add our vegetable broth. So because this soup is a pureed soup, you don't, need to worry about how you cut up your sweet potato, just as long as they're cut and they fit into your pot. And then you want to cook the soup until the sweet potatoes are tender. The onions, of course, are going to become tender and sort of flavor the soup as it begins to boil. So you're going to bring it to a boil, and then you're going to simmer it for about 20 minutes until, again, the sweet potatoes are tender. So our sweet potato and leek soup has been boiling for about 25 minutes, and the sweet potatoes are beginning to fall apart and they're completely tender. So now we're going to go ahead and blend it. Now, in the interest of texture, there's two ways that you can go about this, and I'm going to give you a variation. So what I did was I cubed a little bit of sweet potato and then just sauteed it in coconut oil, a little bit of cumin, salt, and pepper, and that got them really crispy. So this way I'm going to blend this soup into a complete puree, which is why I'm using my blender. Otherwise, if you aren't going to do that step and you just want it to be one pot, you could use a hand blender and buzz it until there's some texture still left. So you just want to scoop the soup into a blender. Now, if you don't have a high-powered blender, I would suggest making sure that your ratio of liquid to vegetables, as you would say, isn't too low, because then it's going to be harder to blend. And then we're just going to blend this, and then I'll show you how to finish it. So to boost this soup even further, I'm going to add a little bit of spinach, because green is life. Chlorophyll is what plants use to nourish themselves, and when we can get some into our life, we're also going to be nourished too. So I'm blending and pouring just into this pitcher, and I'm going to blend halfway, add this raw spinach. You don't want to put the spinach in the blender because then your soup is going to turn green. So you want to do this in this step, like this way, sorry. And then just pour over top. This is going to just wilt the spinach so that it's like dreamy and delicious in our soup, and it's going to add a little bit more ing to it. Now, to finish this lovely soup, we are going to take our sauteed sweet potato cubes, and we're just going to put it in the middle of a bowl. Now, if you're doing this ahead of time, you can make these cubes, but don't put them in the soup until you're just about ready to serve them, because they'll lose some of their texture. But I mean, you can do whatever you want. And then we're just going to spoon the sweet potato and leek with spinach soup right over top. And voila! I mean, I'm going to have to wipe it, of course, but spinach and sweet potato soup with leeks and cubed sweet potatoes. It's one of the best soup recipes that I think I have in my repertoire right now. I love it, clients love it, and I hope that you love it too. So I want to thank you for joining me in my kitchen yet again, where we made sweet potato and leek soup with spinach, a spin on the classic vichyssoise that makes it healthier and, in my opinion, better tasting. So I'm Bianca, natural food chef, culinary nutritionist, and I want to thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.